No idea how to throw a punch, throw a kick. Although I've worked hard since I was 4 years old, and hindsight, yes, I've always been, on this path to fight.
Body shot, a good one from Gaethje. Oh, the left hook connected for Gaethje, and then lands a right hand, and then a knee as well for Gaethje. Uppercut, right hand, big uppercut again, and it's Gaethje's moment.
Oh, I love this so much. Crowd oohing and eyeing with every strike thrown here.
What a fight. Big right from Gaethje, and down goes Vic.
That was all wrong. Justin Gaethje, maybe the most entertaining fighter on this roster, top to bottom. Oh, he got him with an overhand right. It's over. That is it.
Oh, big right from Gaethje. Justin Gaethje by first round knockout.
We were locked in. Tunnel vision. Target. Becoming a world champion.
Make some noise, fight fans. We're back with another stacked video for you guys to enjoy. Today we will be shining a spotlight on one of the most effective transformations in UFC history, and that is Justin Gaethje's evolution from Homer Simpson to human wrecking ball. Featuring in this video will be Justin's introduction and early outings in the UFC, the subsequent evolution of Justin's style as a fighter, his partnership and success with Trevor Wittman, and what the future may hold for the highlight.
Stuck in the Stone Age.
If you look up the word savage, you'll immediately find a picture of Chuck Liddell. But look a little closer, and it's actually Chuck Liddell holding up a picture of Justin Gaethje. If you didn't already know, Justin's amateur and pro debuts were both slam finishes. Before the UFC, he had an undefeated 17-0 record with 15 finishes, 14 of which were knockouts, TKOs. So if you didn't get the memo, Justin Gaethje was a beast from the word go. Making his amateur debut in the preseason of his sophomore year, he racked up a 7-0 amateur record. Gaethje went and doubled up, this time as a pro, going 7-0 again with 6 stoppage wins before being signed to World Series of Fighting. Living up to the moniker, The Highlight, Justin marched forward time and time again, barreling through his opponents like a tank, scoring finish after finish through sheer grit and determination. Dynamite in his hands also played a huge factor, it must be said, but with the subpar competition, Justin could pretty much walk down and overpower anyone in his way, never needing to develop that technical edge we're so used to seeing at the highest level of fighting. Winning the title and even defending a few times, Gaethje sauntered into the UFC with an air of a man who believed in his own immortality. One more time, his juggernaut-inspired game plan would see him to victory over Michael Johnson. An impressive debut set Gaethje on a path with the division's top dogs, where raw aggression and ill intent just isn't enough to seize victory. As big and mean as Justin was, there were a couple of lightweights who were just as big and even a little meaner. Keep watching and see just how Justin was forced to level up.
A wake-up call.
Justin once explained in an interview with ESPN that his old mentality was to be the most exciting fighter in the world, as that was the surest way to make money in MMA. He explained that while winning was important, entertaining the fans had to come first if he was going to make a living off the sport.
The path always changes a tiny bit, but ultimately, my destination is just to get to the top. To prove that I'm the best in the world.
Getting finished in back-to-back fights against lightweight legends Eddie Alvarez and Dustin Poirier, Gaethje was forced to reassess his approach to fighting. Finally encountering opposition that simply would not roll over or go down with a heavy shot, Gaethje realized he either needed to adapt and overcome or stand guard at the gate while the elite of the division took care of business. Gaethje's coach Trevor Wittman explained that losing to Alvarez and Poirier the way he did forced Justin to evolve and develop a new outlook. From then on, Justin became more discerning when looking to trade and opted to take fewer risks. Trusting in the process of his mentor had paid dividends for Gaethje so far. While he may not have been the first man to defeat MMA anomaly Khabib Nurmagomedov, Gaethje is nonetheless now among the elite in the UFC's 155-pound division, looking sharper, more intelligent, and more technical every time he fights. According to Trevor Wittman himself, when he asked Gaethje after those 2 losses if he still wanted to be the most exciting fighter in the world, Gaethje's answer was simple and to the point. "Not really, coach. I want to be a UFC champion."
And I asked him, I said, what's your purpose? He said he wanted to be a champion. I looked him in his eye, I said, do you believe you can be a champion? He said, yes. There is no stutter to that.
Wittman in the Wings.
Trevor Wittman, who was just named MMA Junkie's 2021 Coach of the Year, currently has the most formidable stable in the UFC. Going 5-0 in title fights in 2021, he also coached welterweight king Kamaru Usman and strawweight queen Rose Namajunas to victory on the same night he cornered Justin Gaethje to victory against Michael Chandler. For those keeping score, that's 3 high-profile fights at the top of their respective divisions, all fairly comfortably won. This is just a sample of what Wittman has brought out in his fighters. His high-energy feedback in between rounds, coupled with a critical eye for obscure details, has led his fighters to victory time and time again. Gaethje would praise Wittman as an artist, referring to himself as the canvas, saying, "That's how I really approach it, where I really just trust in the guidance he's given me throughout the years." In response, Wittman has praised Justin for being as coachable as he is, calling Gaethje's attitude and trust in him a blessing. In August of 2018, Gaethje would need that bond more than ever as he lined up to fight James Vick, with a fair share of bad blood between these two. It was actually James Vick who dubbed Gaethje as the Homer Simpson of the UFC following his losses to Alvarez and Poirier, due to Gaethje's characteristically low IQ style of wading forward and throwing windmills. But Gaethje got to have the last laugh, however, as he trapped Vick using savvy footwork and his patented pressure fighting style, before delivering a knockout of the year contender that put Vick to sleep immediately. Stay with us as we show you guys how Justin Gaethje got one step closer to becoming a UFC champion.
Gaethje 2.0.
Following a dismal 6 months from December of 2017 to April 2018, Justin Gaethje approached his UFC career with a new drive and hunger, not just for the accolades and money, but for UFC gold. Following that impressive knockout of Vick, Gaethje squared up against Edson Barbosa. Once again, Wittman's will was done, and a newly educated Justin Gaethje managed his range while keeping the ever-dangerous Barbosa on the back foot. This allowed Gaethje to secure another spectacular KO.
It's over! That is it! No Edson Barbosa out cold!
Making that 2 back-to-back finishes, a perfect rally to getting finished twice in a row. A huge factor that started to play more of a role in this new and improved Gaethje was the increased implementation of leg kicks. Gaethje has several fights in which his vicious leg kicks have either ended his opponent then and there, or set up the inevitable TKO with the hands. However, there is now a patience to them that made them all the more intimidating, knowing that they would be coming all night long and not in a mad rush in the first round. With Wittman at his side and the constant improvement, Gaethje only picked up the pace and made it 3 back-to-back finishes when he scored a resounding TKO victory over Donald Cerrone, with an even stronger performance than his previous outing. By this point, Gaethje 2.0 was clearly a problem for the lightweight division, which meant there was only one major test left to face. Tony El Kukui Ferguson, the boogeyman of the lightweight division, was all but champion at 155 pounds. Flaunting a record 12-fight winning streak in the division, Ferguson was the last hurdle in the way of Justin Gaethje's shot at the throne, a rusty-edged, blood-stained, barbed-wired hurdle that was on fire. Yet up against this mother of all challenges, Justin 2.0 well and truly emerged in a fight that showcased what 2 years of dedication to development can do. Justin Gaethje dominated Tony Ferguson in a way that we have never seen and will likely never see again. Every shot was measured to a T. Gaethje's right cross found a home pretty much at will. The striking stats for that fight showed a 72% accuracy for Gaethje, which is just mind-blowing for a guy who had a reputation for being a walking punching bag with no strategy. The last round of that fight saw Gaethje land 34 of 39 attempted strikes. That's 87% of strikes finding their mark. And we all know Gaethje doesn't half-ass his shots. Even more remarkable was that Gaethje came out of the fight looking fresh as a daisy, compared to every other one of Ferguson's opponents who looked like they had just been through a meat grinder. That win would earn Gaethje a showdown with the truly exceptional Khabib Nurmagomedov. Despite a good opening round for Gaethje, in the next, he joined the 28 other men who failed to clip the Eagles' wings. The only hiccup since his career revival in 2018, Gaethje was back with a vengeance at the end of 2020 when he and fellow gladiator Michael Chandler went at it at UFC 268. Gaethje quickly imposed his will on the fight with hard shots early on. Living up to his new reputation as a serial leg killer, Gaethje had Chandler limping and stumbling from the start of the second round. Shades of old Gaethje were to be seen, especially when Chandler rocked him as Gaethje got over ambitious, but some wise words from Wittman during the round break soon saw Gaethje return to a deadly level of focus. A win for Gaethje on the night was the first of Wittman's hat tricks for the evening, and by the end of it, all eyes were set on a future showdown with Charles Oliveira. Stay tuned for this last one and let us know what you think of this next part, as this could very well be what truly makes Justin Gaethje an exceptional fighter and competitor.
Winning.
Justin Gaethje is no stranger to winning. Starting all the way back in high school, he graduated Safford High School with a wrestling record of 191-9. In 2010, while at college, he would become the first Northern Colorado wrestler to become a Division I All-American wrestler since 1970. In 2020, it was announced that Gaethje would be inducted into the Northern Colorado Athletics Hall of Fame for his wrestling achievements. But that's not all. Even as a fighter, his goal was to become the most exciting fighter around. One look at his record, which is littered with first-round finishes, numerous fighter and fight of the year nominations, even his losses to Alvarez and Poirier ended up winning fight of the night honors, adding to an extensive and frankly obscene post-fight bonus collection, which brings us nearly to the following. If your goal as a fighter is to be the most exciting, and you're sitting in the top 5 of the most talented division in the greatest MMA promotion, getting bonuses for your fights even when you lose, to the point you have more post-fight bonuses than actual fights, can that be classified as winning? Let us know in the comments what you think. At this point in his career, Justin only has one major goal to accomplish, and that is to become UFC champion. With him being the most logical next opponent, it's highly likely we will see him take on Charles Oliveira in 2022. Will Wittman's magic work its wonders once more, or will we need to see a Gaethje 3.0? Well, that's a wrap on today's video, and we certainly hope you enjoyed it. Creating content and talking MMA with you guys is seriously what we love to do. So if you're down to get more of what we got, do all that great stuff and like this video and subscribe to our channel. We also love getting comments from you guys about what you want to see next, so sound off like you mean it. Until next time.